In this session we're going to talk a little bit about the portable electric planer. This machine, to start with, we're going to identify the type of current that it uses, the voltage, and we can tell straight away by the yellow plug on the end that this is a 110 volt machine. Generally speaking, this will be used on building sites and in some workshops. We can also check with the plate on the back that this will indicate, this will tell us on the back that whether it is a 240 or 110 type of machine. So on the back it tells us 240, it tells us it's 110, and we can be sure of that by the actual yellow plug. Now, underneath, being a planer, it has got a small cutter block. This is the cutter block underneath here, and the cutters are inserted across the machine bed just here. Those are the cutters. We've got two cutters in this machine, and these are replaceable cutter blades, this particular type. They're tungsten carbide tipped, TCT. They're hard blades, and when they're used on one side, we can unscrew them and reverse them and use down the other side. They're not resharpenable. Once they're blunt or broken, we take them out, we throw them away, and we replace them. So that's the cutter block, and that's the actual cutter across the side there. This machine can be used for rebating, for making rebates. All we need to do is lift up the guard on the side and adjust the depth stop down here. We could have a guard on the side that goes into here as well to enable us to run along the edge of the timber. But just for today, we're going to actually use this just to do a simple bit of planing. The underneath of the plane is this part underneath here is called the sole. And to adjust the amount that we are actually planing at any one time, we can rotate this knob that way or that way. The more we wind it up, the deeper the cut that we actually get on the machine. Okay. Now, some of the new planers have actually got a dust bag that fits on here and collects the dust. And some have actually got a nozzle that you can put in that will go into a Hoover type machine. This one, however, is a little bit more old-fashioned and doesn't actually have any way of collecting the dust. So when we actually use this, there will be a little bit of dust shavings on the bench that you will see actually produced. Again, before we use the machine, we simply have a good check over it, making sure that there's no damage to the body and no damage to the leads. Standard procedure when we pick up any machine. If there is any damage to the machine in any way, we take it out of service, we label it stating what is actually wrong with it, and we inform our supervisor. It's then up to them to get the machine repaired or replaced. Okay, so underneath we adjust it there. So I'm just going to wind this out a little bit and then wind it up just a tiny bit more, ready for use. Now, when we are using the machine, when we let go of the cutter, when we let go of the trigger on the machine, which is at the top here, this blade will continue to spin. So the last thing we want to do is just drop it down on the surface like that. That will just mean that the machine will slide along the surface, or worse still, cut into some kind of metal or something like that. What we can do, however, on a bench like this, is to place it down like that, with the end of the bed actually on the side of the workbench. That means the cutter's actually off the surface. Some people will put them down like that so that they don't touch the surface. The trouble is, as that's rotating, there's a chance that you'll put your fingers in there and hurt yourself. So again, try to avoid doing that. The best way is to either hold it in your hands until it's finished rotating, or if you've got a bench with a well, put it down so that the back of the base of the machine is actually up off the floor. Okay, so what we're going to do now is use our PPE. Again, we're going to use our dust mask, we're going to use our earmuffs, we'll plug the machine in, put our kit on, and we'll just give it a little bit of a go. essentially how you use the machine. But remember, as you go onto the wood with the machine, you're holding the front down, and pushing on, and as you come off the front, you hold the weight on the back. That way you avoid having dings or little bits too much taken off one end and the other. A machine like this is often used on site for hanging doors and planing heavy sections of timber down to required size. It's generally not used for finer work. So that's a little bit about the electric planer.